is The Art of Wrestling with professional wrestler Colt Cabana.
It's Colt Cabana.
Sit down, relax. You're about to listen to The Art of Wrestling, a professional wrestling podcast. It's a life podcast. It's a personal journal. It's an entry into the minds, the souls, the hearts, and the lives of the people involved in the world of professional wrestling. I am your host. My name is Colt Cabana. Hello. Ooh, a hello to you in the back waving to me. Especially hello to you. I am a fringe goer. I am a pound spender. I am a Brendan container. For when he gets out of control. Most importantly, though, I am a professional wrestler, and I am not sitting here live in my studio in Chicago, Illinois, but I am here in front of a live studio audience at Studio 24 in Edinburgh, Scotland. Ooh, that was just like 25 Ric Flairs. And one David Flair. Before we go any further, this is a fan-supported and listener-supported podcast supported by people just like you. We give it to you free of charge every single Thursday on ColtCabana.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, Howl, wherever you get your podcasts from. A couple great ways that you can support, rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Tell a friend, let somebody know via Twitter, via Snapchat, via the Edinburgh Fringe app, if you think that that's a thing that can get people to listen to this fucking podcast. Best way to support, though, ColtMerch.com, DigitalColt.com, t-shirts, buttons, pictures, posters, DVDs, digital downloads, premium podcasts, and all of that fun stuff. And I love how when I do that spiel in my apartment, I know everybody checks out. I get it. Or you're fast forwarding 15 seconds. But I literally just watched every single person in this room either take a drink, look away, not be bothered. But it's educational. It's very important. I am at the Fringe. I'm excited. We're going to do a live show. We're going to get into it. We got a lot of fun guests. But I want you to know that I've moved into Edinburgh, Scotland. I've moved into a student dorms living situation. Not since I was 18 years old. Am I living in the dorms now? Fresh student living is where I'm living. It's called Fresh Student Living, and it sounds like it was named in the 1980s. By Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff, and it's very cool. As I left, I felt bad because I housed a Japanese man. Sitting in my studio apartment as I'm in Edinburgh is Shigehiro Irie. I bet he's jerked off in every room in that studio apartment. And I don't even know. I should have put up cameras. I feel as a Japanese man, he could appreciate the voyeurism of me watching him. I'm sure there's a show of that of some sort in Japan. I could have sold a show, had I even known. BBC Japan. That's not a thing. It should be, though. What's the BBC in Japan? I don't know. I'm talking to myself. Okay. And I find myself talking like John Hastings does stand-up now. That'll be funny in a second when he comes on and you all notice his cadence. The Fringe is really good. Hacksaw Jim Duggan has a show. Did anybody see Jim Duggan here at the Fringe? Everybody shaking their head. He was here at the Fringe doing a show, and it was 25 quid, wasn't it? It was 25 quid. Yeah, fuck that, right? I feel like for those of you who have come to the Fringe show that we do every year at the end we play a clip, and a round of applause if you know the clip that we play, the little guy who gets booted off. You guys know that one? It's pretty crazy. I heard he has a show here also. Where he just gets kicked off the stage for an hour straight. I'd pay 25 quid to watch that live. You know that little clip where the guy gets booted off the ring? To watch that live, I would pay.
Still traumatized from Tuesday.
You're still traumatized from Tuesday. What was Tuesday? Live SmackDown? We're all traumatized from the live SmackDown. Go on.
Watch him do that kind of flip. He did like a reverse
Was that? We haven't done a Tuesday show yet.
Was it Tuesday or Wednesday?
Well, you keep drinking and it's every day, buddy. It must have been Wednesday, yeah. And that's it. I mean, that's like that would be a great show. And but you know, sadly, it's just me doing my show with Brendan Burns every night, 10:45 at the Pleasance Dome, which all of you guys will be attending, and all of you at home, especially the ones living in Nebraska, will be come to the Edinburgh Fringe and come hang out and watch our show. The show is usually, though, me and another guest, I bring up somebody who shares the same love for professional wrestling as you do, as the people at home, as I do, and we're going to get into it. So let's welcome our first guest to the stage. He is Canadians' fourth favorite son. He is John Hastings. Nope, you're on this one. I am. Who wants to? Can I stop your? Can I stop your wonderful pop that you got to assign somebody to the picture taker? Who's the picture taker this year? My man right here. Okay, I need a picture of everybody so we can put it on Twitter.
Am I allowed to talk now? I feel like I'm supposed to be silent.
Well, let's wait till he sits down and we're like in action.
Okay,
here.
yeah.
Okay. Act natural. Act natural.
Yeah. We look like we host a really shitty morning, like, breakfast television show. Like, Colt and John in the morning. He brings the pizzazz, and I bring the caffeine. It's going to be a tough crowd.
It's going to be a tough one today.
Did you say welcome to Edinburgh? Who said that? You genius. Now, hi,
Did you
Colt.
call him Eugene?
I did. Well,
Which wouldn't be much of a genius.
get it?
What's your feelings on Eugene the character?
I have a lot of feelings about it. There's a part of me, which is my brain, that was like, there was something about this that is deeply offensive. But there's another part of me known as my funny bone that goes, sometimes Vince McMahon just strikes gold and keeps. There was ladies and gentlemen, a billionaire wore a suit that was pressed by someone else who was paid to do that. He went and got his hair cut at an expensive barber, walked into a boardroom and went, we need to get someone who's mentally handicapped so that he can be Hulk Hogan. Make it happen. The stock market. People just, what happened on Monday Night Raw? All right, well, John Cena was there. He talked about hustling for some weird reason. We don't know why. And then he looked like he was about to give birth with his arms because his arms looked pregnant. It was a muscle joke. I agree. Not funny. And then a man who's not mentally handicapped came out pretending to be mentally handicapped. And the reason why is he's related to Eric Bischoff, who one guy thinks he's an idiot because he beat that guy for 2 years straight. Why did they do that? I don't know. Why did we get into business with a man who shit himself on live television twice?
Who shit themselves on live?
Vince McMahon has shit himself twice on live television.
That's a fact?
That is a Jim Ross endorsed fact.
Can we see this anywhere?
It is on the internet. YouTube, Jim Ross plus Vince McMahon shit pants. There's a story for you, my friends.
I don't know why I'm not playing this on my show every single night. I wonder, like, we've played some weird stuff on the show that we do, and I just wonder if that would get any kind of reaction except the reaction that it will probably get.
Well, it's not. What it is apparently Gerald Briscoe apparently is a bit squeamish when it comes to farts. So Vince McMahon, being a good boss and respectful of human resources, would fart in the man's face. You know, because he's in his 50s and behaves responsibly. And one day, he was doing it right before a run-in, and he sharted in beige pants, went to the ring, and so he had a shit stain on the back of his pants. And Jim Ross was like, in his mic, like, with the cough button on, film the shit, film the shit, film the shit. And the cameramen refused to do it because they didn't want to get in the back of it. Who filmed my duty? Who did it? I'll put you on a shitty underpants on a pole match. Like... So they refused to do it, and then another time he also shit his pants. Well, obviously he would. He eats probably only protein bars and paychecks he refuses to cash.
Oh God, I've heard some weird stories of just like he has the same meal every single day.
Of course he
does.
And
it's just like a 14 inch steak. Is that Mope said that wrong?
Yeah.
14-ounce steak.
Yeah.
I think all the divas would eat his 14-inch steak. Allegedly, thank you very much.
Yeah. By the way, Miss, your face, I know it's a visual podcast. When he said divas eat a 14, you literally looked like you just ate bad milk. Just, oh my, I did not expect this. We just walked into the room where heroin was invented to talk about wrestling. I thought we'd get a classic conversation, not all this body poo-poo behavior.
Yeah, you'd think I'd have Disco Inferno in this podcast with this disco ball floating around.
He could wrestle the Invisible Man, an idea that I wish had come true. Did you not know about this?
Go on.
He wanted, in the dying days of WCW, also known as my favorite time in wrestling, he wanted to have a wrestler who was invisible.
Who's he?
Disco Inferno.
Oh, Disco Inferno.
Pitched there'd be an invisible wrestler, so a wrestler would go to the ring and wrestle himself.
Sure. Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
What would he wear?
Who knows?
Crowd got silent.
Yeah. Because they're wondering how far we're going to take it. I think it would be kind of like that Chevy Chase movie, The Invisible Man, where he would wear sunglasses and a hat, be invisible. And I don't really know how they would work that out, but probably it was owned by Ted Turner so they could get the rights. And quite possibly Chevy Chase wasn't doing fuck all in 1999. They probably could have got him. It was pre-Community. Or, they could do it now on Monday Night Raw. I can fucking get Chevy Chase. He's in my show every day, 9:30 at the Pleasance Attic. Classic Hastings plug. Now.
John, how long have you been doing stand-up?
I've been doing it 10 years.
10 glorious years.
10 glorious years.
Tell me about the idea of sneaking professional wrestling into your stand-up comedy and probably nobody giving a fuck.
Well, here's what happens. It's very much because of this podcast and also me and Brendan's wrestling-based association, which is people will show up in the crowd with like an ICW or a Progress t-shirt looking at me being like, you're going to make the jokes, right? You're going to talk about Grado? And I'll be like, I would, but there's 50 other people here who don't know who the fuck that is. Don't worry, I'm very unprofessional and would rather make just you laugh than the rest of them. Yeah. So for when no reason at all, I just say he was arrogant, like the Rick the Model Martel. You better laugh loud, motherfucker. Yeah, no, last year was my favorite because there was literally a contingent of wrestling fans, and I walked out and I was talking about my dad, and I said, he looked like Jim Crockett Jr., and even they looked at each other, man, what the fuck is he fucking talking about? Yeah, I'm so into it that I will weird out wrestling fans. Yeah.
How deep does your what's like?
It's I couldn't sleep last night, so I watched Terry Taylor shoot videos until I felt better.
Till you felt better, or till it put you to sleep?
Till I felt better. He's a very engaging speaker. He was the Red Rooster, cock of the walk. What have you fucking done with your lives?
You're sitting here and telling me that Red Rooster,
the cock of the walk,
was better than these people have done in their lives?
Absolutely not. That was praise for all of you not participating in anything to do with Terry Taylor, the Red... Miss, let me explain. Terry Taylor was a man in the 80s. The 80s was a decade before the 90s, and he was a professional wrestler, and he was not a man. He was an actual rooster. But he didn't have a chicken suit, because that would make sense. Instead, they just dyed a part of his hair red, and he would balk on his way to the ring. And you want to know why? Because sometimes Vince McMahon strikes gold and keeps fucking digging.
And I guess I'd like to ask, we asked this on the show the other night, but just what's pissing you off in wrestling these days?
I just, Dean Ambrose, would you put on some fucking trunks? You're not in the Jets or the fucking Sharks. You look like a cock.
Cock of the walk?
No, it literally looks like they woke him up at a truck stop and were like, you're on in 5. And he was like, what? All right, but you guys got a beer? And they're like, you're an athlete. Whatever. He looks like the guy your mom fucks after your dad moved out. Do you know what? It just pisses me every member of the Shield that's gone on, their wrestling attire is woeful. Seth Rollins looked like he's a cop from the future, and not a good future like Escape from New York or Blade Runner. We're talking a Tom Cruise, Will Smith vehicle called The Robot Sleeps at Night. And then you got Roman Reigns wearing a belly tee that reads the Roman Empire. So I'm like, what the fuck is that? That's not even he's the Roman Empire. He's a democratic government that was ruled by a dictatorship. Who knows what he's up to? And And, like, is he stabbing people in the back? Like, work with it. And then you have Dean Ambrose, who's just constantly sweating. Like, also, here's another problem with professional wrestling. You never walked the ring.
You're telling me there's a problem with professional wrestling?
I am, Colt, and it's not something you do, but so many wrestlers, for some reason, they've thought, here's what the fans really want to see. Me looking like I just got out of a shower, but for some reason was wearing clothes in that shower. Never once was I watching Hulk Hogan drop the big leg thinking, I wish his hair was wet right now.
John, what would you wear as a professional? As John Hastings, the comedian, booked in a match, what are you wearing to the ring?
I'd wear a full suit of armor.
Oh, like a young Lanny Poffo.
We don't know what he's up to. He could still be wearing that.
I bet he is.
Guys, by the way, do yourself a favor. A Lanny Poffo shoot video, mwah.
A Lanny Poffo Art of Wrestling podcast.
Oh, that was a hoot and a half.
Thank you.
Although he didn't really explore what he eats in the morning to clear out his colon. And that was a fascinating 30 minutes that he goes into on a U-Shoot video. That the question was about his brother. I don't know how he got there, but it was impressive nonetheless.
John, where's your show at?
My show is every day at 9:30 at the Pleasance Attic. And I know some of you are thinking, hey, John, do you have a Rybold-style wrestling podcast of your own? Yes, me and lovable comedian Dylan Gott do a stupid show called The Wrestler Review, where we review wrestlers based on no information whatsoever.
We got a little taste with that Eugene, I feel.
You certainly fucking did. Current episode, John Tenta. Are there fat jokes? So many fat jokes. Most of them directed at me. It was a weird day. Okay.
One more time, that podcast name?
It's The Wrestler Review, available on iTunes and SoundCloud and wherever good podcasts are found.
You got on iTunes.
I did, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
John Hastings, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, everybody. Colt Cabana, everybody.
All right, let's welcome up our next guest, direct from New York City. He recently had me on his television show to be a professional wrestler, and I made him debut as a professional wrestler. Let's welcome Chris Gethard to the stage. Sweaty hands, Chris.
Really? I guess I'm nervous.
Are you?
Maybe.
It's a lot to follow, that Hastings.
Yeah, there was a lot of energy, and I'm not known as a really high-energy human being.
Let's bring it down.
Yeah. I want to be like, hey, how are you? But we live together in Edinburgh, so it feels disingenuous. We've been hanging out all day, every day.
And I'm basically your wrestling Wikipedia.
Yeah, I've told you at some point living with Colt, at some point every day I've been like, just tell me when it gets annoying. As much as I'm asking about wrestling.
Because we went to go see a magician.
Yeah.
And he did this trick with a can of tomatoes where he called out what was in this can.
It was fucking awesome. It was so insane.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I've seen that guy, and every day I see him, I bug him. And I'm like, how do you do that fucking trick? How do you do that fucking trick? And I feel that's probably the same way you think I feel that I think that I am to that guy.
Yes. I'll also tell the world this, because you are far too nice to air this. I've been going to the gym every day with Colt Cabana, and for the people who can see me in the room, you can see that that's a ludicrous idea, and he's far too kind to tell you. It's really embarrassing for me, and he's so sweet about it. We were doing bench presses the first day, and he would put on a pro wrestler amount of weight to train and work out, and then we'd literally, without talking about it, remove every weight, and then I'd do just the bar. And then we'd switch back, and me just lifting his weights onto the bar was pretty much my workout. Yeah. And then this morning we did more. We looped back to chest. It was a chest day. And there was a very sad moment where Colt had to spot me and get the bench press bar off my chest. And the real sad part was that there were no weights on the bar, and I couldn't lift it. And you, no joke, reached over and lifted it with one hand.
To be fair, I didn't think you were going to do the weights. I didn't think you were going to put up the weights on each side. I thought I was going to have to put up each weights on each side. So I was thoroughly impressed when you're like, I'll do the 20s on each side.
Yeah, that I can lift 20 kilograms. You were thoroughly impressed.
I was.
The phrase thoroughly impressed just came up. That I can lift something that's like 2 gallons of milk.
Yeah, I was. You are a pro wrestler now, Chris.
On some level, yes, thanks to you.
Did you? Tell me about that experience, I guess, in your brain. Because
Yeah.
for me, it's like another day of work. And then I know it's got to be some kind of fun to have you wrestle a man named Vacation Jason on American television.
Yeah.
But was it everything you ever dreamed of, or was it?
It was absolutely everything I ever dreamed of, and I thank you for it. I have this talk show in the States, and it's a really bizarre thing, and we try to do something different every time. And for our season finale this year, I've always had an infatuation with wrestling since I was a young child, and we staged an actual wrestling match, and you called in a bunch of favors, and you brought in Rhino and X-Pac, and got a couple guys to dress as a coconut and a pineapple, and we all wrestled. And my favorite was the night before, I think it was the night before, he sent me a GIF of a tornado DDT and was like, hey, I want to have you do this in the match. And I was like, oh, cool, LOL. And he was like, no, seriously, you're going to do a tornado DDT. And then you taught me how to do it, and I did it against the coconut, I think. And then my favorite part of the match is that after I do it, you can see a shot of Colt in the background going, how did you do that? Because the whole bit is, why would I do that? And I wanted to be like, because you taught me yesterday. You personally taught me yesterday. Is that breaking the...
No, it's fine. Am I a good worker or what?
It was great.
Unbelievable. Psst, this is how you do it. And also the funny part is, the coconut was just like, I worked so hard to make Chris do a tornado DDT, and he got all the credit.
Yeah. Well, I was like, 'cause in our text conversation, I was like, I really don't think I'm physically able to do that. And you were like, this is one of those moves that, like, it looks like you're doing it, but the other guy just kind of DDTs himself.
Yeah.
And it was fun to learn that.
You did it great.
Yeah.
You played that other part brilliantly.
Yeah, and it was, I'll tell you, X-Pac was really nice and put up with me a lot. He said something really beautiful at one point. I was like, I really hope I don't mess up this match. And he was like, brother, there's no such thing as messing up a match. Whatever happens in a match is what was supposed to happen in the match. So you just move on and know that that was meant to be. And I was like, X-Pac, I never expected these words of profound philosophical wisdom. Who knew?
And then his next sentence was, brother, do you have a joint?
Yeah. I mean, one of our writers, we all go out to a bar after the tapings of our show, and one of our writers did text me roughly 15 minutes after we wrapped and said, gonna be late to the bar smoking weed with X-Pac.
He got in good with the writing staff.
Immediately picked out which writer had the weed.
Are we allowed to say who that was?
It was Will Miles.
Will Miles.
It was my buddy Will Miles. They immediately linked up. They're both weed smokers to the point where they can psychically communicate of like weed, and then they both know meet after
Is there a
the
name
match.
for like a weedar? Is that a thing?
If there is, those two have it.
They have it.
Big time.
You said you fascinated at a young age with professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And because it's pretty deep. So sometimes I have comedians on here, and it's just like, they'll be like, yeah, if I fucking loved Akeem the African Dream, or, whatever it might be. But the other day you were telling me that you and your brother would sit around and watch. I mean, you have a fond, like, distinct memory of the stuff that you guys used to watch.
Yeah, my older brother, to this day, he's like one of the most obsessive wrestling fans I know. He's also kind of like a well-known guy in the world of e-fedding, which is like the Dungeons and Dragons for wrestling. Like he's
known.
He's like known as one of the better match writers in the world of e-feds. He's really good at it. He's just obsessive, and he's 2.5 years older than me, so he got into it really young. And we had
I thought you were going to say he's 2.5 years old.
Yeah.
He's 2.5 years
currently
old.
2.5 years old. But he traveled in a time machine back to the early 80s and taught me about wrestling. But he taught me the good stuff. And we had, one of the cool, looking back, one of the best things in my childhood was my father hates wrestling. He hates it. He's one of these guys that's like, it's fucking fake. What's wrong with you? And he hated that we watched it. And the only time I've ever broken a bone in my life, my brother and I were wrestling on our front lawn, and he gave me a stinger splash and broke my collarbone because we were children. We didn't know what we were doing. And my father flipped out and was like, that's it, no more wrestling. But my father only knew about the WWF. He didn't understand there was other wrestling. So when we were little kids, he knew Saturday at noon, Sunday at noon, WWF. You guys can't watch it. But we knew about 605 on the Superstation. So we were like 5 and 7 and watching the NWA, which I feel like that was not their target market.
No.
Their target, like watching like Dusty Rhodes get his like bones broken, and like watching like much more adult shit, and also much more scumbaggy shit. Like less cartoon characters and more like, oh, there's like Dan Spivey, like the guy who it's like, oh, he's just like trying to fuck ring rats. Like at 5 years old, I was like, oh, these are bad people with dark lives. I really like this.
But also, it just seems like, and as a kid, I think we're the same age. So, like, WWF was just bright lights.
Yeah.
Blue, like blue, red, the ring ropes. And then, WCW or NWA at that time just seemed really dark, like smoke-filled arenas. And they still played it on television.
Yeah. And also, I grew up in New Jersey. And I got lucky. Like, I found ECW when they were just submitting tapes to, like, UHF stations in the Northeast, like weird Channel 85 shit. I just one day was flipping through those weird upper channels because I'm an oddball, and I was like, what the fuck is this? But it was, like, real early days of ECW, and that was really big for us, too, being in Jersey.
Did you relate to, like, who did you relate to on ECW?
Mikey Whipwreck. For me, obviously, the ultimate underdog. And I also loved New Jack. I thought that was pretty cool how you could watch a man try to murder other human beings on TV. I liked that. I also still don't understand how they license that music. And I would also say this too, though, because my favorite we were talking about this the other day. One of my favorite things I ever saw as a kid was the Clash of the Champions with that tag team tournament with the international one. Because I liked having this idea in my mind of like, oh, there's all these wrestlers all over the world, and like there's the best of the best in these different regions, and they come together like fucking Street Fighter. I like that. So I love that.
Because I think one of the reasons I loved. I don't know if it's wrestling or whatever, but like Bloodsport is the same way for me.
Yeah.
Like all these people, different regions, and I don't know.
That's why I loved Pride. Before I was a big MMA fan, but I don't love the UFC, but I loved Pride because it's like, oh, you get to see this Croatian kickboxer kick fucking Dos Caras Jr. while he's wearing the mask, just knock him on his ass. But I think to me the funniest thing I've ever seen was that tag team tournament when Steve Williams and Terry Gordy just beat the fucking shit out of that father and son New Zealand team. Yeah. Like that was, if you haven't watched it, that's like the most, you can just see that those two walked in and they were like, fuck these guys, and just like walked through them.
Yeah, I wonder what their gripe with them was.
I don't know, man. Again, those are the types, I love those types of wrestlers, and I loved finding World Class on ESPN, like those regional Southern leagues that felt like, oh, these dirtbags just want to fight. But I got sidetracked. I also loved ECW, because I remember seeing like that Dean Malenko-Eddie Guerrero match where Eddie Guerrero had the fucking American flag Zubaz pants and the mullet, and I was like, oh my God, and ECW bringing in like the worldwide element too. I always feel bad that ECW is kind of regarded as like all violence, but I would say much more of what was cool about it was like, oh, they're bringing in
I feel Paul realized that it was a little too much violence.
Yeah.
And I do think he changed the aspect of it by bringing in these guys. I always felt bad was they had those crazy matches, but you could tell they were in like the shittiest rings.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever noticed that. Like there's a difference like, and I don't know if it's the same with stage, stage comedy, but there's just something like you see those WWE rings or the NWA rings, and they're just nice and the ropes are tight. And then there's just the ECW rings, some of them just duct tape everywhere, just shitty, and like that takes away from a performance, especially two guys who are like lucha guys and like doing real fast paced stuff.
Yeah.
So.
When you walked into a card and you see a ring like that, are you like, oh, I'm gonna get fucking hurt? Like, is it that vibe?
It's just like I know I'm like my performance is gonna be not as good as it can be, and we're gonna put a little more comedy into this match, a little less high risk maneuvering. Chris, where is your show this year?
It's at the Pleasance Dome, the King Dome. It's at 10 p.m. every day, and it's comedy. It's a comedy show mostly about depression and suicide. So I feel like there's probably at least a handful of wrestling fans who know those feelings of shame and self-loathing.
I think it's the perfect crossover. And we're going to have to put you and Marty together.
I would love that.
And I think have a chat out.
I would love it.
I think that would be a good chat.
Yeah. You can be honest with me on the podcast. How annoying is it that I ask you about wrestling all the time?
Not at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
I'm okay with it.
Then I'll pick up the pace.
Chris Gethard, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, buddy. Let me interrupt real quickly here from student housing. I didn't ask these guys where they were on the internet. So let me do that real quick, plug them up real quick. John Hastings after the Fringe will be very vocal on Twitter at John Hastings. He's also on Facebook /John Hastings Comedy. Chris is on Twitter at Chris Gethard. He's on Instagram at Chris Geth. His TV show can be seen at thechrisgethardshow.com. He's also in a new movie called Don't Think Twice, made by the guys from This American Life and Mike Birbiglia. I also want to thank our sponsor for this episode, 54 Club Apparel at 54club.com. A fun surprise of fashion every single month. For the nice weekend shows at the Fringe, I pretend to dress up and be real presentable, and I can only do that because of the gear that 54 has given me. It's a Los Angeles-based brand with style leaders making sure that you look good. It's also a brand by itself. You can't get them in the stores. You can't get them anywhere else. You got to be a member. If you have the clothing budget, this is the one to do. $60 a month. They send you over $150 worth of clothes. Plus, shipping is absolutely free. Before you know it, you got a closet that looks like a real person's closet, and all of a sudden you have a real life wardrobe, like a real life person. Different clothes for both different seasons and different looks. You need date clothes, they got it. You need hangout clothes, they got it. You need wrestling show clothes, they got it. Just head over to 54club.com and use my promo code COLT. Helps me, it helps you, it helps everybody. Again, that's FIVEFOUR club.com. I don't know why I didn't spell out club for you. I think you get the idea. Use the promo code COLT, and through the end of August, you can get 50% off your first 2 months of packages. That's basically over $250 of clothes for just $60. All right, thanks 54 Club. Let's get back to the show. Good news, we got somebody directly from here. He is actually, he's a local. He's a hometown guy. He's a hometown hero. Let's welcome Joe Hendry up to the stage. Do you have a song? Does he have a song? What do we chant? I feel there's a chant. Hey, Joe. I feel there's a chant when, there's a chant for every fucking UK wrestler.
Watch those swear words. Come on. Gotta keep it clean when I'm here. No, I'm just kidding. There we go.
But that was just one thing, and then they all knew to stop exactly at the same time. What was that? Joe Hendry. Man, well, I need one of those.
I know.
What's mine, guys? That's just my song. Hey, Joe, how are you?
Very well, thanks. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, the difference between you and I and dress apparel is so much.
Well, no, I've got trainers on, so don't worry.
So you look the part. And you have a title with you.
I do have a title. This is the ICW Tag Team Championship. I'm one half of with Davey Blaze as Local Fire. And we won these belts coming to the ring in monkey costumes.
Local fire.
Yeah.
Davey Blaze.
Yeah. He actually came up with that. I can't.
Oh, he should be very proud of himself.
He is. He's very proud of it.
You won him in monkey costumes.
We came to the ring in monkey costumes because we did.
Did you stand on the apron and get kicked by a luchador really far?
No, gimmick and fringe. Right? I mean, what we did is we stood at the ramp and we did we've got a local fire dance, which is just pretty simple, but we do it to popular tunes. Sorry. So we did the Bloodhound Gang, the Bad Touch. So instead of the usual words, which is you and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammal, we did you and me, Davey, ain't nothing but mammal. So let's win the tag belts on this iPay-per-view channel, because it was our iPay-per-view debut. So,
wow.
We had to do it in monkey costumes. So.
You got one. That's good. That's good. And that's kind of so You've cultivated your own thing here. I've been watching the entrances and everything on. I think a lot of people are familiar with his entrances and his videos and his music. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe explain to people who don't know about that.
Sure.
And then let's talk a little bit about like how, why, when, where, how much does it cost? Because I wouldn't put that much money into an entrance.
Yeah, it's well, basically, I mean. In professional wrestling, there are certain things that are in your control and certain things that are out your control. And obviously, I am fairly new in the business. I've been in the business for 3 years, but I'm very ambitious. I want to be the WWE champion. That's my goal. So I was like, right, I need to get myself to the top of the ladder here in independent wrestling as quickly as I can in ICW primarily. So what I did is I needed something that was going to...
Side note. You can't become the WWE champion by going to the top of the ladder in ICW. It's two different promotions.
Well, I'm hoping to do both.
Okay.
But I meant using that as like make myself an entity in independent wrestling to then go to, the major leagues would be my goal long term. So I was trying to get exposure as quickly as possible, basically. So I had this idea of the way that I could the thing that I could control would be my entrance. So what I did is the one that stood out as the first one was I thought, I would love to come to the ring In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins. I was like, that drum solo, it just has to happen. And then, so recorded that song and then figured out I had kind of a sidekick at the time, Bobby Roberts. And I thought, you know what? There was a very famous British advert where they have In the Air Tonight and the monkey hits the drums for the drum solo. So see, there's monkeys again.
You really,
I know. We'll tackle these issues on another podcast. But so we got Bobby dressed up as a monkey. And he
Are you
did the
talking about my
drum
other
solo.
podcast, Spanking the Monkey?
Oh, right. Well, so Bobby does the drum solo, and then it became this whole thing, and it was like, that was pretty cool. So I was like, let's do it again. And then we did one for the EastEnders theme tune, which is a big soap opera here, for Shah Samuels, who's a butcher. So we did, would you like to buy some meat? Which is, which is the obvious choice. And then I just caught on, so I just kept going from there. And that's why I don't sleep or have a life anymore, because I'm making dumb entrances.
It's a lot of. Do you know how to use video and editing? Have you taught yourself that stuff, or do you have a guy?
Basically, it's myself and my brother primarily that do them. My brother films them. It's usually
No, it's Frank. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. So
he's called Jake. Is
Jake.
my brother's name, yeah.
Close.
So we go out, we film the videos, and I usually edit them and do the song. So it's, I was a musician before wrestling, so that kind of helped me, so I can knock the songs together fairly quickly. But it's coming up with the ideas for the videos, and once you've done 20 or 30 of them, it gets a bit difficult, and people expect it. But
have you realized, like, okay, I got to stop, like with this podcast? I mean, I've been doing it for fucking 6 years. Like, I thought it was gonna be done after like 2 episodes, and it's like, fuck, I gotta still put out another podcast. You're gonna, like, 6 years from now, you're gonna be
well, what used to happen is I used to have to kind of hassle them and say, guys, can I do this entrance? Come on, let me do it. It's going to be great. Oh, okay then. And now everyone wants me to do one on their show, and I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah, you probably got to do them at every show now.
Pretty much.
You have fucked yourself.
I know. Yeah.
And so I think the fun part was you were not only were you a musician before, you were like kind of a successful musician? Question mark? Exclamation point?
Well, yeah, definitely with a question mark, big question mark. I was in a band in Edinburgh primarily. Did some things. The biggest thing that we ever did was we actually sold 1,000 tickets for this gig at the Picture House, right? And I'm thinking, right, this is the time. The labels are going to come down.
This will get you right to the WWE.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. And so the scouts wouldn't come. And it was, to be honest with you, when I was in music, I attacked it with the wrong strategy. I was trying to create a product that could be on a major label or something like that. Whereas what I learned by doing wrestling is that's the wrong approach. You need to just try and create great work and build a fan base organically and from the ground up. And, if I'd have done that from the start, perhaps it would have been more successful, but I wouldn't be sitting here. So, I'm glad everything's turned out the way that it has, because to be truthful with you, I wanted to be a professional wrestler more than I wanted to be a musician. I just thought the musician one was a bit more plausible. I didn't think it was possible for me to be a professional wrestler. Yeah.
We'll get into that, Brendan. Don't worry. You'll have your time.
And I have to say, I'm grateful for the experiences that I've had. I mean, it's been phenomenal.
Did you have a song that was like played on the radio or anything? Do you have a music video?
Yeah, I would say. In Scotland.
What was your band called?
Yeah. You know what? Let's leave it at that. All right. Because you're going to see some very, very embarrassing videos of me trying to be a rock star.
I'm giving, because you do the videos where you kind of take the piss a little bit out of some of the wrestlers,
and it's going to happen to me.
I feel the first wrestler to pick that video.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
and I'll sit there and I'll have to take it, and with a smile on my face.
And hopefully there's like a music video with you like a sweet mullet and like jamming out on the bass
exactly
guitar.
That. Maybe if we face each other, you can do it.
Yes. And then the other thing that when we were traveling around last year that caught my ear, which I thought that was kind of funny but interesting. Are you still doing amateur wrestling?
Yeah, I am actually. I started it because we were filming for the second ICW documentary, which I actually wasn't in for more than about 4 seconds.
Oh, you and I both.
Yeah.
but I filmed about 2 hours worth of shit.
They filmed me for, I think it was 12 days.
Oh my
12
God.
days. And I wasn't booked on the tour, so you kind of needed to be on the tour, really.
You're like a young Dennis Stamp, aren't you?
I know, exactly. I was not booked. So, I wasn't in it, but I thought it would be a cool story for what would happen if someone in professional wrestling had kind of put their ass on the line and gone for it in amateur wrestling. And so I kind of think, to be honest with you, if I'd embarrassed myself, they probably would have put it in the documentary and gone, oh, wrestling's ruining this guy's life. Because I felt that was kind of, you just never know with the narrative of documentaries, but it wasn't in, but I decided to keep it going. I'm training for the Commonwealth Games. So I've got some tournaments I need to win to do that. I think it's possible. So I'm going to be working hard for the next 2 years to try and qualify.
Wow.
So, I'm not going to make any bold claims, but it is possible.
I mean, the Olympics are right now. Why aren't you in the Olympics?
Because, well, the thing is to be in the Olympics, I would say amateur wrestling has to be your life. You shouldn't. To be in the Olympics, you can't start wrestling at the age of 27. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, or I could just start talking mad trash like Conor McGregor, and maybe they might book me in the Olympics.
I will dust him in 1 round.
So the big goal is WWE. You have done some. I've seen you on their television, right?
Oh.
You don't want to talk about that
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. No, I want to talk about it.
You did a thing, right? You got beat up.
We did. Did I get beat up? I didn't get beat up, actually.
What,
I did
were
2
you a
things.
security guard?
I didn't get 2 things. I almost beat myself up. And I'll tell you some. Well, that's the first thing. Yeah. So basically, I was a rosebud. So that was the first thing I did.
Do you know there's people that like in America that like on posters they'll say like official WWE Rosebud?
Do you know I was a Rosebud in total? I think 12 times.
Really?
It was between 10 and 12 times. We did a tour, and you know what? It was a fantastic laugh. It was brilliant.
That's
it was
great.
Absolutely fantastic.
Who was Rosebudding with you?
It was me, the Coffee Brothers. It was Nathan Cruz.
Did you guys have like inside jokes by the like there are things you would do as you rosebudded?
I think Joe Coffey wore like his old school uniform. I wore like a pink suit, and I'm trying to think what everybody else had. I can't remember, but it was an awesome laugh. But actually, my friend Justin Sizem, who's also a wrestler, he had a Scooby-Doo style van, so we were living the gimmick, going around in this crazy van. And it was a great time. It was a great laugh.
Sounds like a great time.
So we did that, and there's this section where Jack Swagger grabs me, and he just went like, ha! Like right in my face, and it was quite hard not to laugh. But I held it together, just because ha! Right. Like at point blank range.
Shit breath, right?
Well, it's.
You're not.
We did actually say it, and we
all American
breath, and then the next time I went, I was a Russian.
That's what it was.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. So there was me and Lionheart. Now the thing is, I'm not sure I was actually supposed to be booked to do this. I think there was someone else that was actually meant to do it. But someone had said to me, remember and bring your red ties tomorrow. So I thought, it must mean me. So when they said, where's the Russians? And I was like, must be me. So when I got in, they were like, tried the promo and stuff like that, and I managed to memorize it and got to do it, and they were like, yep, cool, that's fine. And I'm like, I'm going to cut a promo on Raw, but in a Russian accent. And I don't know what a Russian person sounds like right now. So it's kind of a mix of, a little bit Russian, Scottish. Some people said Jamaican at one point. So...
Can you give me your where you're at on the internet in your Russian accent? Tell me your plugs in your social media.
Oh God, what was it? It was
okay. Work it out.
So it started. Can I tell you one thing though?
Sure.
Happened? When basically in this segment, Sheamus runs down to the ring, and we're supposed to get out of there, and
then everyone turned the TV off,
and
so no one actually saw your segment. Sorry.
And so I said, I'm thinking, I'm going to get some brownie points here. How should I get out? Because, I'm a wrestler, and, we get out the ring a certain way. I'll get out the ring like a non-wrestler, because I'm not a wrestler today. And I'm thinking, that's gonna boost my career. They'll see him on the ball here. So we're getting out the ring, and I'm going, instead of putting my leg forward, I'm going to put it back. Nah, they're going to see that and think that that's amazing.
Sign him up.
Yeah, exactly. So what I don't see is Rusev's behind me, and he's going forward, my leg's going backward, and I look back, and our legs are just tangled as Sheamus is running to the ring. And so I just have to take a tumble out the ring. So if you actually watch the clip, you will see me fall out of the ring and be laughed at by the commentators.
But
so
that's what you were looking for.
Exactly.
Impressed.
That's exactly what I told my friends.
Word is, Vince McMahon was like, hell of an actor.
Yeah, when I went back, I was like, I hope you like that. Meant to do that. Tumble out the ring there.
So give me your plugs in Russian,
Okay,
please.
so it was like, I can't even remember the accent. It was like, Rusev, Lana. Something like that. Again, it sounds nothing.
Where are you on Twitter?
At Joe S. Hendry.
Okay. Facebook?
I can't remember, Colt.
You don't know
Just
your Facebook?
Twitter's the main one.
That's all you have is
I think
Twitter.
it's Joe Hendry, local hero.
You're really nailing the social media.
I know. This is me wanting to build a brand for myself.
We'll build it, and we'll start with Twitter. I love it. Joe Hendry, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, cheers.
And last but certainly not least, let's welcome up my tag team wrestler at the Fringe every single year. You can watch us every night, 10:45 at the Pleasance Dome, Brendan Burns. Oh my God, he was taking a dump, and I just saw him button up his pants. Are you serious?
Yeah, did you have like a bell that went off when I was taking a shit or something? No. I was having a wee.
Did you wipe? Did I just touch you? What's going on here?
Did you just touch?
You're such a mess. Get it together, Brendan.
I thought, well, I've been sitting there for 40 minutes. I really needed a wee. Hello.
That'll happen when you drink 18 monsters.
So wait a minute. So Joe Hendry,
Yeah.
his plan is to go into the WWE.
You
And
can't.
his-
Hold on. Don't do too much ripping on him. He's right here.
No, I know.
Okay.
I know. And his two backup plans are Rockstar and Olympian. I think you come back here, Joe. Let's have a little bit of a chat with Uncle B.
Yeah.
Come back here, Joe. Let's have a chat with Uncle B. Let's sort your fucking. Did everyone understand why I cracked up laughing? I'm like, what does your dad do, Joe?
Mainly supports me. That's, there's so many activities going on.
Does he really?
No, he is.
How the fuck did you sell that? I've got to be a rock star,
Yeah.
a WWE or an Olympian.
Put it this way, I've had.
I think your parents supported you too much.
They did.
I think as a 5-year-old, they were like, you can be anything you can when you grow up. And then I think when you got into your teens, they should have started like, let's get some realistic about some shit, all right?
You're touching a bit of a nerve here. I think I've had rather disappointed parents until now. I've got a belt now. So
You've got
it's
a belt now?
It's okay. It's all worth it.
I was really a very sore point. See, I fucking I managed to find a sore point and walk into it head first every fucking time. Well, if there's any consolation, I was in mid-piss when people started clapping for me.
Hey, they're clapping for your piss. Any other questions you want to ask Joe?
No, I just wanted to fucking find out about his dad, actually.
What does your dad do?
He's called Tam. He's awesome dad. He actually manages a charity. So there you go.
Oh, so you can't fucking mess with
can't
that.
now.
Christ, I
Yep,
fucking
you can't.
step away from the subject.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate
Joe
it.
Hendry, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Hendry. Holy shit. Oh.
Hey, Brendan.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm great. So another year. What have
by
we?
the way, I now completely understand about. We lived across the road last year, and Cole every year is like, ugh, because that's how he sounds during the day.
Thank you.
So much walking. By the way, he complains about walking like on his way to the gym.
Yeah.
So like he'll go to the gym, work out for 2 hours every day, but bitch about like 2 flights of stairs. I'm fucking knackered getting here.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
this
a
is
long
miles
walk.
away.
It was a
That's-
long walk.
It is actually. I'm completely sold on where we are now.
Thank you very much. I was right after 4 years. Was I right about the show that we're doing? What have you noticed this year that is about the wrestling and the wrestling fans? Or have we?
I mean, Hastings touched upon it as well. That definitely we've built a bridge over the past couple of years at the Fringe between wrestling and comedy. there's always the wrestling fans, first of all, actually make really good comedy fans because they're used to suspending disbelief. They're used to looking for subtext. They know when we're working heel. We know when we're working face. You know what I mean?
Do you work heel as a comedian?
Yeah, absolutely. First 10 years of my career were fucking all heel.
Wait, so
Do you fucking...
wait, there's a
I just shat on Joe Hendry. Was that a fucking...
this is totally, you're standing on stage and like the only goal is to get people to like you and laugh with you, right?
No.
Am I incorrect on that?
Why do you think I'm on a career downswing?
Who have you been healing?
No, actually, for the first 10 years, I was definitely like known as the angry comic.
But you would go up and just and you'd make sure that the crowd hated you?
If things weren't going well, right? If things weren't going well, I would make sure that I introduced the crowd to the worst fucking night of their lives. Because I wanted them to be, I still wanted to be the guy they remembered. Because no matter how much everyone kills, everyone remembers the guy that got booed off.
Yeah, but they don't
And
want to buy
everyone remembers
tickets
the guy-
to see you anymore.
But then also, everyone remembers the guy. Yeah, but I would much rather make a fan for life out of 20 people and alienate 100. In a room with 120 in it, if it's not
Great
working,
math. Great math on that one, Brett. Thanks for the math equation. I think we all picked up on that one.
Yeah. Right now, I'm working Cabana. People get a kick out of sometimes if they see me in, say, a broader room, a more mainstream room, and people aren't quite understanding what I'm doing. And like we were talking about it last night, that there was like about 5-6 fans in that were watching me work a room of nothing but tourists, and the tourists were hating it, but the fans are pissing themselves laughing even harder because most people try and win the crowd over. I don't really feel the need to do that.
And I guess to relate that to wrestling, and like I was trying to think of an example, but sadly I think it's like me. You know, it's like when you try to put Colt Cabana, the indie guy who's done so well in the indie underground scene, and then you throw him in the WWE.
The parallels are becoming more and more apparent, and also the people now understand, and comedians are getting it now as well. Like Josie Long, who did our show, then started going to wrestling shows and was going, oh, I get it. It's the same art form. It is, because they adapt what they're doing based upon the audience response. No other art form does that except for ours, right? It's love from strangers. When you're starting out as an open micer, you go through brutal humiliation for the hope of love from strangers. When you're a jobber wrestler, you go through physical torment to get love from strangers.
And in both professions, Randy Orton will shit in your bag.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, none of it is the product of good parenting. Right? So what the fuck is Joe Hendry?
Joe. So tell me what you...
Also, there's you have high spots and finishes. We have bits and closes. It's becoming more and more apparent to comedians and wrestlers that we're effectively the same people.
Yeah, and I've noticed. Essentially, also that's what I've been trying to do, though. Like I think a lot of comedians have been trying to do that with the wrestling world, but sometimes the wrestlers can be stuck in their own world where they don't realize there's a bigger world out there.
Absolutely. And also, when people think wrestling, all they think is the WWE, but if you want to see something more subversive, you have to go underground. Same way here that in the UK, we have Live at the Apollo, which I know in America means something different. Live at the Apollo means a black gig, isn't it? It's a black
in America,
it's a black room in New York. Live at the Apollo in the UK is like a very shiny floor, very, very mainstream, very broad, people in shiny suits and so on, and it's very polished and very slick. And it's obviously very clean and very mainstream. But, you go to an indie wrestling show and you look at the audience and the demographic, and it's very similar to a Doug Stanhope gig. And it's like people understand that if you want something more edgy or more underground or more subversive, you have to look a bit deeper. Which is why I think indie wrestling fans make awesome stand-up comedy fans.
Yeah, for sure. Tell me, before we as we wrap this up, what's pissing you off about wrestling these days, Brendan?
You know what? I haven't even had time to watch it. However,
go on.
Fucking did any of you see, like me, the very first live SmackDown? The very first one? Yeah. And Did any of you else notice what the fuck happened? Yeah, wait for it. So basically the opening segment of the show is Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon going, SmackDown Live is about one thing. And they open the curtain and someone in the crowd has a big fuck off Colt Cabana head. And I can tell, watch the edit, because they're supposed to have a panning shot to the ring to show all the wrestlers. And obviously someone in the booth goes, fucking cut away! Get that cunt's head off my television! That's Colt Cabana. But it's so funny, they go, it's all about one thing. Ta-da! Boom, boom, Colt Cabana.
You know, I essentially made the same amount of money for that shot that I did my whole WWE career.
What, do you get paid every time your fucking head gets shown?
No, I didn't get paid that much when I was in WWE.
Oh, I see,
It's
right.
the joke.
Oh, I see. Oh, I can't believe you had to explain a joke to me. It's so funny. We've become so much a part of the fucking... We've become so much of the part of the furniture of the fringe now as well. It's like I walked out here and you were kind of nice to clap, but it was kind of all right, Brendan, right? And there's I think a lot of your fans that just only know me as a wrestling mark, and vice versa. And in the first year, we were both a bit starstruck with one another, and now 4 years in, as a double act, we're able to tell each other to fuck off at least 3 times a day. Just get fucked. I'm not doing that. And we are such a part of the furniture of the fringe now. We have a guy that comes to see us regularly, Rudy Superfan. He was there.
First name Rudy, last name Superfan.
Yeah. We've just called him Rudy Superfan at the box office. It's a really hard to pronounce name. But the funny thing was, I saw Rudy in the street in Edinburgh, and I went, Rudy! And I was more excited to see him than he was me. He fucking hot-shotted us both. He's like, calm the fuck down, fellas. He Don Rickled us.
He Don Rickled us, which can mean so many things.
This is a famous stand-up comedy story. You know Don Rickles? Yeah, okay. So Don Rickles, as a young comedian, when he's 20 years of age, he's just starting out and he's opening for Frank Sinatra, right? And you know that Frank Sinatra is the Don. You don't fuck with Frank, right? And so Frank is he's the king of show business. There hasn't been a king of show business since. And
Don't fuck with me.
I'm the king of show business. You're gonna kiss my ass. Get up there and chew it up. Anyway. And so Don Rickles goes, oh, Frank, you know what? I'm seeing this girl. I'm really trying to impress her, So, it'd be huge. It'd be huge if it's not too much trouble. If just while I'm talking to her, you could just come over and introduce yourself to her and just say hi to me. Right? That'd be awesome. And Frank's like, no problem. Right, but in a Frank Sinatra voice. No problem. I'm Vinny. Hey, Lenny, Joey, bust him up. So he goes, no problem. So he's fucking talking to the girl, and Frank Sinatra walks over and goes, excuse me. And Don Rickles goes, fuck off, Frank. Can't you say I'm busy? He fucking Don Rickled us.
He did it to us. Brendan, where are you at on the internet, bud?
Where am I at? The internet?
Yeah.
The internet
You
says.
are the internet.
I am. I'm
You're
so fucking internet.
You're so fucking internet.
I'm internet as. I am at, I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Brendan Burns Comedy. It's Brendan with an O, BRENDON, and Brendan Burns on Twitter. And also, if you go to the Brendan Burns Show.com, there's loads of free stuff. And there's my podcast, Dumb White Guy, every Sunday.
And where are you at the Fringe? You got a free show.
6:15 at the Free Fringe, at the Liquid Annex Rooms. Last year's show was all right. This year, I've got a show. It's good.
You're going to say the same thing next year, by the way.
No.
No, okay. This is the one.
No, I'm not going to say this is the one. I said this year's show's good.
This year's show's good.
Last year's show was all right.
I'm saying next year you're going to be like, last year's show was kind of shit, but this year, it's the show.
No, not Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Every time you've got to make the movie bigger and greater. There's more stunts and stuff. My head gets fucking bigger.
Let's end it on that one. Brendan Burns, ladies and gentlemen.
Come on, pussy!
He just yelled pussy into the microphone, as only Brendan Burns can. Guys, that is the show for today. A huge thank you to, let's thank our guests one more time, John Hastings, Chris Gethard, Joe Hendry, Brendan Burns. Let's thank Studio 24 for having us here. Big thanks to Cable Guy Jeff and Stu Stone, Kid Russell and Matt Jenkins on the music, Dane Miller with some tech. Before we get out of here, though, bear with me if you can. I am going to do some plugs and
Upcoming events.
bless your hearts. ColtMerch.com, digitalcolt.com is the best way you can support. At Colt Cabana on Facebook, fuck me. At Colt Cabana on Twitter and Instagram. Howl.fm to get past archives of the show. Use the promo code COLT for free trial. ColtWrestling@gmail.com is my very public email. Send me a personal email. I'm on Facebook /Colt Cabana /AOW podcast. I got a YouTube channel /Colt Cabana Wrestling. ColtCabana.com is where you can find my website. It literally has everything. Also has the P.O. box to send me some snail mail. I do have upcoming shows. All this month I'm going to be in Edinburgh Fringe Festival, 10:45 at the Pleasance Dome. Pleasance.co.uk to grab tickets if you haven't picked that up from this show yet. And that's what I'm doing. I am also wrestling while I'm here. Saturday the 13th, Edinburgh, shop.discoverywrestling.com. Next Sunday, please show up. We have different guests. We're doing a podcast right here at Studio 24. Sunday the 21st, Newcastle, Facebook /Absolute Wrestling. Friday the 26th, Kilmarnock, is that right? Kilmarnock, bcw-wrestling.com. Saturday the 27th, Dundee, Facebook /SWE online. Sunday the 28th, Glasgow, insanewrestling.com. I'd like to thank our sponsors, hidespots.com. Hundreds of full-length titles available to download, plus a VOD service, a subscription box, a wrestling ring, wrestling gear, you name it, they got it, hidespots.com. OneHourTees.com, they help support ProWrestlingTees.com. That's where you can support your favorite independent wrestler. Buy a t-shirt, they get a shitload of money. It's pretty great. TweakedAudio.com/Colt. The earbuds that I use get over 35% off. Free shipping just because you listen to this show. Guys, thank you so very, very much. This has been The Art of Wrestling. For Colt Cabana, I'm Colt Cabana. Thanks.